electric Kia EV6. And from a first glance, it certainly breaks the trend of older Kia being more than does. However, is this another case of form over function? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. With a car like this, we can only start by talking about the design. So you've got these really nice slim headlights with the matrix LEDs inside them. You've got this swooping black piece of plastic here, no fake vents like its rivals. Kia's new badge, it looks like some child has drawn and scribbled with their pencil, but that's not too bad. This red paint colour, oh, it's really nice. With this British frost, it really reflects the sun really well. You've got this aggressive front bumper. They're trying to make it look like a bit of a splitter. This is one of the top of the range GT line cars. You have a few fake vents here, but it doesn't look too bad. What do you think? From the side of the car, Kia's tried to make it look very sporty and imposing. We've got these muscular wide wheel haunches, a swooping roof to make it look like a coupe SUV, blacked out windows for that sportier look. Have a look at these handles. They are pop out, but I've never seen something like this before. They kind of flip out instead of pop out, and to open it, you almost have to give it a weird sort of handshake to pull the car door open. You get 21-inch wheels, they're the largest you can get. They start at 19s, which I think is a bit too small. And the red, you can get a contrasting roof on the GT line models, and this black plastic below just kind of breaks up the bodywork a bit. There is quite a lot of bodywork on this part of the car. I think it makes it look a bit bulky. This is the best angle of the car, the rear. I mean, just look at the swooping rear lights. It's all one piece, almost a bit Aston Martin DBX like. And look at the silver trim, it goes along here. I'm not too sure about this fake vent and diamondy effect. That looks a bit cheap. Also does the fake vents. I'm so glad they didn't put fake exhaust, as it's an electric car. You've got this swooping rear window and this spoiler. It's got little holes in it. Kia says that's for aerodynamics. Hopefully they're being honest and not a design feature. The Kia EV6 starts from around £41,000, which is a bit more than its rivals. Options. There's a rear wheel drive, which is what this one is, which has 226 horsepower, produces 257 newton meters of torque, and it's rear wheel drive obviously, and it will go 0 to 60 in 7.3 seconds. There's also an all-wheel drive model, which has 316 horsepower and 447 newton meters of torque. It's all-wheel drive, and it will go 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds, which is a lot better. There's also a GT model, which is the performance version, which has a whopping 565 horsepower. This rear-wheel drive version has a claimed range of 316 miles. However, these frosty conditions mean that the range has gone down to around 220, 250, which isn't ideal. The inside of this Kia EV6 is where it really shines. I mean, it's nice in here. You've got some lovely materials on the doors, on the sills as well, which makes it feel nice on a longer journey to rest your arm. There's lots of things to excite you with, unlike the past Kias. There's this layered dash with the lined effect, these massive 12.3-inch screens there, and this leather effect again, place to charge your phone. Slightly cheap silver plastic there, and center console is slightly wobbly, but that's all right. I can start up the car by pressing this button here. You're greeted by a nice sound, and look, the seat's moving into the owner's ideal position. If I click that, there's big cup holders here which will easily fit a larger bottle, and there's loads of space underneath here. Because it's an electric car, you don't need the pipe for the petrol combustion engine, which means that there's more storage underneath here, and there's USB points to charge your phone. This system is probably one of the best in its class. It's Kia and Hyundai's joint system. Graphics are very, very sharp, very responsive. There's lots of different things to do on the system. You can plug in your phone or use it wirelessly via Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. But to be honest, I wouldn't bother. The system is good enough. There's lots of extra things to excite you, like quiet mode, and that'll help you get to sleep. Not on the road, obviously, but if you pull up somewhere. And the digital dials, they're very sharp as well. One thing that's very cool is if I pop on the indicator, Sorry about that. If I pop on the indicator, the camera feed shows up from the front wing mirror to show what's coming behind you. You have no excuse to cut people up on the road anymore. There's the climate controls here. I'm glad they still kept some physical controls. You've got the dials here which help, and you can also switch it into shortcut buttons, which is quite cool. It is a bit tricky to see while you're driving. You may have to look down a bit, but I like that instead of trying to do it through the screen. A lot more simple. The glove box is the biggest I've seen on any car, full stop. It goes all the way. You can easily fit a little rucksack in there. If I didn't get it in the way, that would shut. And there's loads of legroom and lots of headroom, lots of adjustment in the steering wheel as well. Very nice feeling steering wheel, lovely feeling seats, very supportive and grippy. Huge vanity mirrors, and overall good vision and a great interior. In the back, it's quite clear that the Kia EV6 easily beats its rivals in terms of backseat space. The front seats are as far back as they go, and look at this, I have tons of leg room, tons of headroom. As you know, I'm quite short, so maybe adults might struggle with the coupe like roofline, but look at that. That's the most leg room I've seen on a car of this category. That because the batteries are underneath the floor, that does mean that the floor is quite high up, so you can't really stretch your feet underneath the seats. But it's alright, there's loads of leg room to compensate for that. There's also these nice expensive feeling airplane like rear seat holders, and there's chargers to charge the kids' iPads. There's also lots of space in this door bin. Look at this massive anti-freeze, very useful in this weather at the moment. That easily fits in the back. There's also heated seats for more luxury, lots of air vents here, and the windows, they're not too dark. It's quite bright in here, even with the black trim and the black windows and the black roof. The seats are very comfy, as in the front. Lots of Alcantara to grip you when you're going around those corners. And there's some reading lights there, which are nice and bright. Finally, let's take a look at the boot of this Kia EV6. If I open it up using the key, it does take a while. There's 520 litres of boot space. There's a flat floor, which means I can easily take things in and out. It is quite high though, so heavier items might be a bit more of a struggle. There's a flat floor and it's lined with rubber, which means that things won't get dirty. This car has a Meridian sound system, which means that under the false floor there's a subwoofer. There's still a bit of space, but there's not really anywhere to put your charging cables, which is a bit of a pain. That means they're just going to have to sit and take up boot space. There are also quite wide wheel haunches, which eats into space as well. 520 litres doesn't sound like a lot for a car this big, but in here it actually looks like a lot of boot space. I think the reason for that is it's not very tall, instead it's very deep, which is okay because you can fit larger suitcases in than its taller, more boxy rivals. If I fold down the rear seats using these clips, there's a flat floor, which means I can slide my items to the front of the car with ease. It is a bit harder to pull them up. You have to use a lever by the side of the seats, and there's not very many accessories that you can use to tie down things. But oh well, if I fold down the boot again, it does take a while. There's a lot of space in the back of this Kia EV6. In a world flooded with generic SUVs, the Kia EV6 manages to break through that grey zone. It's equipped with tech and designed to give so-called premium alternatives a run for their money. It has the flair to almost justify that rather hefty price tag, so if you're looking for an electric car and you have the money, look no further.